welcome to Reactive Reload. I'm just one of your hosts, Irish Cowboy, joined by your other host, Crossover. We are going to be reloading the gaming entertainment news the past week or so and reacting to it. I know. We're going to be talking about Halo. We're going to be talking about things that we're looking forward to by the end of the year. We're going to talk about pricing. And talk a little bit about everything this week.
Do you think that they're going to release it in spring of 2021, or do you think that they're going to wait all the way until holiday season 2021?
I feel like May would be a pretty good time for them to do it. Not just because of like May the 4th and it's the whole space theme. I don't think that would have I don't know if that would have that big of a thing on it, but I don't think they could get away with making us wait another year. I mean, they can do whatever they want, but when it comes down to it, this was supposed to ship with the Series X. Like, I am bummed. I really am bummed. They had 5 years to put something decent together, and like the people at 243, Phil Spencer had just come out and said that they were going to release it in parts if they wanted it to be, and we did not get that. It sounded like he was actually kind of hoping they would, and that he was actually pretty bummed that.
I did hear about them releasing it into parts. I am okay with that because it was going to be on Game Pass. Like, if you were paying $60 for the game up front, which I guess some people still will, but why would you do that?
Yeah,
when you have Game Pass. I could understand a lot of people being upset, but I think it's almost like when you're walking through Costco, right? And they've got the free samples and you eat it and it's like, well, if you don't like it, oh well, it was free. Like, who cares? It'll be kind of the same thing where it's like, yeah, who cares if you don't like that it's in pieces? You're going to get the whole thing eventually, but you're not really paying for it. And you got all these other things anyway. That was $60 of $14.99. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that it'll be as big of an issue as it otherwise would be because they're putting it on Game Pass. I think that was actually a genius idea from Xbox.
Here's what I could see them doing, and that is releasing a huge demo or beta or whatever for Halo Infinite along with the Series X. I think that would be really cool. When the Halo 3 beta came out, man, it was that was a different time. But it was, but like my brother and I, my older brother got randomly selected to play the Halo 3 beta. And it was a huge event on Xbox Live. A lot of people were doing it, and a lot of people were trying to get in it, and it was chaos when you got on there. But it was so much fun. And we, like my younger brother and I, we went over to my older brother's apartment that he had at the time. We actually got access to play because he was the only one who got invited, even though we had all signed up for it or were hoping to get randomly selected. He's like, "Yeah, I got it." So he was at work, and we just went over there and played that the whole time. If they could build up this whole Halo 3 or Halo Infinite. Like maybe make it an event, like a game fuel kind of thing. I wouldn't even care. That would be awesome to see that whole kind of vibe come back to it. Because when you saw the trailer for Halo Infinite, I guess it was kind of like a demo, really, but like it kind of brought a lot of that feel back from the older games. And I think they tried really hard to do that. So I think we might actually see some kind of Halo Infinite, a playable form of it, like when the Series X comes out. That will probably launch with it, because I can't see them like not, they've been really quiet right now. And one, they're either trying to, they either might wait a month until September to give people time to breathe when they heard the news that Halo Infinite wasn't going to be released. So they think they might be trying to let the smoke clear. Or they've been very quiet about, pricing, about availability. They've been only in the past couple of weeks have we not heard really much besides the key note about the architecture that happened tonight. That was good news to see how, Minecraft is going to run in the exact architecture of the Series X. But at the same time, it's not really the mainstream kind of news. It's really just for people wanting to know how the thing works in a more personal level, I guess, with the slide shots and some of the footage they showed.
Yeah. So I guess that makes sense. The only thing I would say is that obviously it wasn't they wanted to do, and the timing of it, I don't really think there's a good time for that, right? And I really don't think that there's a good time for it after you announce it in July, and then already by August you're saying, no, we're going to have to delay it. And that was kind of the big, like I said, the big player for the launch of your Series X to go along with your rebranding of what your company is, which is this Xbox Game Pass.
What would cause them to delay it though after they would show that off? It would probably be like reaction, right? Like audience reaction. Social media.
I would hope that it's reaction. My fear would be that they have some very difficult internal like gameplay structural issues that they haven't worked out. That would be the worst case scenario.
Well, we know from those articles that, you know, the company is they're all getting in fights with each other over there.
Yeah, they're split between the old and the new.
Yeah.
Which kind of leads me into my next thing. So even with the delay, and I guess we don't really know why it was delayed, but do you think that the game now gets better? And then what is your expectation for Halo Infinite?
This delay that happened really, what were they going to launch with? You know, I keep asking myself that. Like, if they had 5 years and they still weren't ready for this, what is going on? We know that there's long queues to get things patched and fixed at 343. We know that from the employees talking on some, I don't know, some comment to comment website that they really go in depth about how and why these problems are happening. And like a couple of weeks ago, I was telling you about it, and I was not surprised to hear that it got delayed. But man, it's really starting to seem like with some of these releases and all these games getting pushed back further, I feel like they knew they were going to have to delay it at some point in time. Because like for a big company and a big game like Halo to just come out and say that they're delaying it, it's just like so close to the launch, like the last minute they're gonna be pushing it back there. Like I mean, it had to have been something they planned for, but at the same time they didn't want to do it. The reaction wasn't really what was anything but stellar. You know, a lot of people when they first saw it really wanted it to be good and really, you know, had good hopes for it, but man, like it did not age well. About a week later, like people really started thinking about, you know, is this really what we're getting into? They've had so much time and money to work on this, and we've got a long road that they're driving on the Warthog, and he's going uphill a little bit, showing off a couple of different guns. He punches a couple brutes, throws some grenades, and meets the final boss. in like the same couple of minutes, the guy responsible for this, if they don't get into some tussle like up there in that tower, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever for them to like have that conflict at the end. I desperately need a new game to jump to, and I want to go back to Halo, and I really want to stop playing games like Destiny, because man, there's so much expectation, and the Bungie's the company who makes the biggest deal like out of the littlest things and accomplishments in that game. And I want to have a good shooter, but at the same time, I wouldn't mind if Halo turned into a looter shooter. I think that would be great as far as expectations go.
We'll get to that in a second here. So my expectation is that 343 is once again going to disappoint the Halo fan, which the Halo fan is a very weird beast to me. Somebody who hasn't really been a Halo fan, but was looking very much forward to Halo Infinite. And that is that the Halo fan will tell you all the time that Call of Duty sucks because it's the same game over and over again.
That's
Boy, the moment you touch Halo in any way, shape, or form, they absolutely lose it.
Yep.
But I don't think 343 has, again, it's one of those things where they've now come into a franchise at the halfway point, kind of officially now. And they don't really have their pulse on what it is, because they're still trying to figure out their way and their mark. And I don't know if they are capable of making a great game. I don't know if they're capable of giving you the nostalgic feeling that you're looking for. And I think Halo is in very dangerous territory. Because Halo 5 was kind of a flop, right? Not very many people liked it. They especially hated the pay to win kind of style that they had. The launch for Master Chief was a disaster. I mean, an absolute disaster. It plays pretty well now. They fixed a lot of the issues. The registration issues on Halo 3 are still really bad, but they did go back and they've cleaned it up. But I mean, you can't have the Master Chief collection where you release all of the Halo all at once. And
all the Halo.
It's not even functional for 3 months, maybe even longer.
I got lucky during that time, and I was able to play without problems. And I don't know what was going on. I don't know what I did, but man, when everyone was having problems, I wasn't, and I don't know how that was even a thing. Like, I don't even know how I was able to get on there. It makes no sense.
RNG gods were looking after you.
When people started complaining about those issues, I was like, okay, I hear you. But man, I couldn't relate. I wanted to relate.
Don't know that feel, bro. Don't know that feel.
I have no idea how I got lucky, but I'm here with you.
But I do think that Halo is in very dangerous territory of being dead, quote unquote. And I use that loosely because it's still always going to have the sake, and it's always going to be a big deal. But
forever? Will it be here forever?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the part that they're starting to. It almost feels like it'll be one of those things where they have to bring it back 20 years later. Like, boom, here's another Doom. Yeah, you know what I mean. But here, boom, here's another Halo. Yeah, and so I think they're very dangerous into that territory.
That's all. I think it's the only way that can happen, because like we're right now, are we seeing the death throes of Halo? is that what we're looking at? Is this Halo's final moments?
Unless whatever they do with Halo is a complete opposite direction, like a looter shooter. That would be the way that you bring, and it's a way that 343 could have left their mark on this years ago. Halo is almost set up perfectly for it. And the great thing about it is that you could do two things. You could have a game mode where you bring in the gear that you've looted, the gear that you've grinded for, into an arena similar to Destiny in that way, and duke it out for like top spots, ELO, whatever the hell you want to put in there. But you could also have Halo Classic in there as well, where it would be classic multiplayer. You can keep the customization of Halo, which is something that has made it so great in the Halo Classic modes.
They could call it Red versus Blue if they wanted to.
Yeah, and you could really put together a game that would bring in new fans, keep the old fans happy, and just have a lot of stuff to do. And I know this seems to be a big ask, but get a cohesive campaign together. If you can bring those three elements together, I think that you would not only revive the title of Halo from what it's going into, but I think you would make that. I think it'd be one of those games that wins a ton of Game of the Year awards. Just a ton. Just cleans up.
As much as I hate season pass models, it seems that like people would really get into that if Halo kind of went that route. They do need to figure out how to survive in this next gen era, because the game did not look next gen. I mean, it was obviously recorded. You can go back and look at the 4K, and it does look good. But at the same time, man, it needs to look better. There's not that much special things going on, and I would like anyone to point out and show where exactly we're seeing like next gen kind of graphics and processing going on there. Halo. I mean, it's not easy to watch. It's not easy to watch anything you love die, right? It's so like we're gonna have to we might have to get over it and realize that it could be on its way out. But I don't know. They're taking time to make it better. There's always those guys. It's like, well, if they take their time and to make it a good game, I actually don't mind. But those are people on Twitter who just want to say something different to stick out. But I mean, they're not even edgy anymore. Now it's happening so much that like it's like you feel like it's the same person saying the same thing, like in multiple different topics. When they bring out that old, if they're going to take the time to make it better, it makes them. They think it automatically makes them look good. But the thing is, they have already had 5 years. Like, why are we at this point where there was barely anything to show off?
I feel like it's one of those really kind of mid-wit comments, you know what I mean? Where it's like, they're taking the time to make it better. And it's like, okay, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be better. Right. In fact, it might be worse. You don't know. And
so far, we've seen them take the time to make Halo better, and and that is what we have. And that's what we have to show for.
Exactly.
5 years, how much time do they need?
It has not been good for 343's run. Halo. That's for sure.
No, they were talking about turning Halo into a huge open. It was going to be a huge open world game where you could explore the whole ring, and I think that would be awesome. But when you think about it, it's a Halo ring. There's not going to be. It's not going to be a diverse place, really, of different areas, different things you can go into and see different things. It's the Halo rings. They're pretty straightforward. You got your beaches, you got your clouds. You got your grass, you got some hills, some mountains, some decent areas, unless it was like a flood-infected ring, or some parts of the ring were like infected by flood, some brutes invaded in some section. That'd be cool. But like when we saw like them open up the map in the Halo Infinite reveal, that was really neat. That was really cool to see almost like a Ghost Recon Wildlands kind of feel to it when they opened up that map. It's like that's what they originally wanted, but then they had to start scaling things back. But they were also scaling things up when that whole Project Dante thing showed up. They're testing another console. Crazy, right? I had a feeling there was going to be a new mid-gen refresh, but even if there isn't, they're planning for it. But the same thing is, you don't send those things out like years in advance, right? Like it has to be next year when there's going to be some kind of refresh or something else done. I don't know what the whole Project Dante thing was about, but it was listed after Project Scarlet when they were testing it before E3. And that build we did see was supposed to be at E3 this year. And well, man, E3 was already not going to be here. And now and then E3 got canceled again when it was already canceled. It got canceled twice. Like people, when Jeff Keighley just said he wasn't going to show up because of things that he knows, he wouldn't feel comfortable doing it. The whole topic was that E3 was trying to cater more to corporate sales and stuff, like it initially was, right? That's that they wanted to get back to that whole thing. And Sony had already, was trying to be the cool guy and not show up to E3, and leave Xbox there all by themselves. Who cares? E3, that's our Super Bowl. We love E3. It was fun. It's cool getting together and watching these events, and then hearing the world premiere guy get on there. Like that was, man, gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. Like I love E3, but at the same time, E3 also puts you in the crosshairs of these unrealistic deadlines to meet if you're a developer. Yeah, do you got something ready for E3 yet on this game that you've been working on for like 6-7 years? Oh no, okay. Well, maybe you should try your luck at Sony. Like get the hell out of here.
But internally companies do put that on themselves. Think like Blizzard and Bethesda, for example, they have their own events. So I don't think that it's necessarily a bad thing, because it keeps things, especially for project managers, kind of on a timeline, so that they can keep track of progress in a more tangible way. Any other, before we head out here, any other games that you are interested in for the holiday season?
What was that one that they crap? I need to look at. I was just thinking there was actually a couple from PS5 from PlayStation that was looking good, but I'm probably not going to get a PS5 until like way later, just because the Series X is just going to be the better ones for multi-plats. And there's what we got here. The Avowed one for Xbox, that one looked really good. I think Obsidian's working on that one too. I guess what is that one game? Had zombies in it, and then it came Left 4 Dead 2. Is that what it's going to be? I think that's the name of it. I'm not really sure. Dying Light.
Yep.
Dying Light. That one's going to be really cool. Like there's going to be a lot of stuff going on in that game. I haven't even played the first one.
I'm looking forward to Dying Light 2. The first one was a lot of fun. I love the free running element. I love movement mechanics, right? So like when I play Overwatch, that's why I enjoy playing characters like Gunji, albeit not very well. And Dying Light with the free running, that's going to be a lot of fun. It's why I'm looking forward to Cyberpunk, because the movement on that's always fun. And one of the games too that I'm looking forward to is Watch Dogs Legion. I feel like that one's kind of fallen under the radar a little bit, but I love the story of oppressed people rising up against their government overlords and overthrowing them, and because they've turned 1984. And then of course Marvel's Avengers.
Yeah, that does look fun, doesn't it? Man, I really need to pre-order that game so I can play the beta if it's not already gone. But it looks good. But I made a comment on SkillUp's YouTube channel. I said Miss Marvel straight up looks like she came from Twitter.
It's going to be a little bit jarring to not see Tony Stark as Iron Man.
Yeah,
or not Tony Stark. Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, Robert.
As Iron.
I mean, all of them are. All those characters are a little kind of off.
I know, but you put a blonde guy that's Thor, right? Like Hulk is the Hulk, right? Like he can be, Captain America wears a mask, like it's whatever with those guys. That's not a really that big a deal to me. But like, I mean, Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. Like he really made that character.
That's right. Yep. He really did. And it's his cadence in the movies. It's the way that he speaks, it's the way that he carries himself. Did a fantastic job. I think better than any of the other characters. Yeah,
except
you
for
can't
maybe
walk
Thanos.
by. Yeah, you can't walk by the whoever's playing Tony Stark in Marvel's Avengers and be like, oh yeah, that's Tony Stark. It's like, wait a minute, who the fuck is in that suit? Wait, who is that guy? The whole body's all wrong. I mean, they got the hipster stash on, but other than that,
yep. Oh, and The Last Kingdom, Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
God, that's right.
That one too. Destiny is all.
People are talking a lot of smack about Valhalla, and I think Ubisoft might be working hard at actually making it 60 frames. The balls on them, though, the cojones on them to say, oh no, it's still going to be 30 frames on next gen consoles. Like, what?
Yeah, what? That was pretty ballsy.
What? Be still, my enraging heart. I cannot believe.
That was like Sony or PlayStation had a tweet that was like, do you want this in 4K or 60 frames per second? It's like, you have to choose. You can't have both.
That's right.
But it's like everybody, I think it was for the next Spider-Man game, and everybody in the comments was like, wait. Because they weren't clear. I think they used like a slash.
Yeah.
Actually say or, but it was pretty clear on what they were saying. And everybody in the comments was tweeting back at them like, whoa. You can't do both? And I was just like,
yes. Yeah. What? That's the kind of language they're putting out. The processor of the PS5 is going to be trading resources with the graphics card, and they're going to be passing back and forth. And the issue right now that one guy was talking about, the developer who got in trouble and got like demoted on this forums website he got his admin permissions removed for saying it, but he was like, a lot of companies are going to be having issues, and Sony's going to be telling people this is how you fix them. But the problem is that Sony isn't saying this is how you fix them at the moment to developers before the games come out. They're waiting for these problems to show up before they give them a solution. This whole hybrid kind of processor graphics card that's going to be working, shifting resources. I think it's called AMD's Smart Shift is the technology. Xbox is going to have anything like that because Xbox isn't going to need anything like that. It's going to be a lot better. And the velocity architecture, 100 gigabytes of RAM up to or 100 gigabits a second. I can't remember how that works exactly, but they're going to be able to crank up the speed whenever they need it. They don't need training wheels. And I don't know why Sony's continuing to go this route. But look, I'm a big fan of SSDs. I really am. But the thing is, I don't know if they're going to be able to utilize that power in the SSD or not. But if they do, more power to them. I would love a game that loads fast and instantly. But both consoles are going to be able to do that anyway.
Yeah, and the guy for the cover of Valhalla, just to go back to that for a second, looks just like Uhtred's brother. He looks just like Ragnar.
He actually, I can't believe I haven't even.
Looks exactly like him. He's got the same beard and everything.
How did I not think of that? How has this whole time I've been you and I back and forth have been comparing Assassin's Creed Valhalla and The Last Kingdom, over and over again. And I think Ubisoft is too, to be honest. Like, you can't get that kind of feeling. They have the same lingo. They have like all the same people are mad at each other and want to kill each other or whatever. But how did I not think that was Ragnar? That's exactly who that is. There's no way it's not.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be a little bit ticked if if I can't play as Uhtred.
Yeah, right.
He's not like a DLC character. That'd be fantastic.
Speak to him in a language we'll understand.
Yeah, exactly.
I swear Alfred said that. In the
website I'm on here, Tech Radar, it's /AU, so I think that's Australia. So
yeah,
maybe don't take them so seriously.
Well, I would. We made them a meme in trials. That was fun.
But they're saying that it'll be Xbox Series X optimized. It says yes. So we'll see what exactly that means. That is very ambitious from Ubisoft, because you're right. They did come out and be like, well, probably going to be 30 frames.
Just as the event was about to end, it's like, what? It's like, oh yeah, it'll be 30 frames. Don't you worry. Some people like that a lot more. Show me who. You all need to like have some kind of like flag or something to wear that says you're a 30 FPS fan. And I don't know who would ever be down for that. Nobody.
Yeah, the idea that they have tried to sell some people that, like, oh, some people might prefer the 30 FPS. It's like, yeah, who? Like, color, like, who? Like, colorblind people? Like, I don't know. Like, that was just the first one that popped in my. I don't know anybody. Even they will probably be like, oh, man, these frames are kind of shitty. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, if your goal, and I don't know if this is their goal, right? Because I think that there are different things that they could have done if this was their goal. If your goal is to bridge the gap between performance on console and PC, it's got to be 60 frames.
It has to be.
It's got to be.
It's like,
especially in 1080. Like, I can understand, okay, 40 or 4K, maybe not, right? Like, that's fine. I understand. But a solid 30 frames all the time, okay, I get it. But like in 1080, I mean, come on.
Doesn't Ninja still stream in 1080p? Those Alienware monitors are awesome. They're really nice, and they can get you to 240 hertz. But are you seriously still playing in 1080p? Why do people do this? Why are you doing this, Ninja? Why? Yeah. I mean, you have all these resources, all this know-how, all this good stuff. I'm sure you're just as good, but maybe they feel that's like the frame rate sweet spot. I don't know.
Well, like me, Ninja is also a Detroit Lions fan. So maybe he's just a gluttony for punishment.
Oh, wow.
So, the thing is, too, with the Xbox, if it is at $599 or even $539, which is an oddball one, good luck building a PC that will be able to do the things that it can do for less. Obviously, like, not including like your mouse and monitor and keyboard and stuff, but just like the internal stuff, like your case.
It is impossible.
All the innards, like, how are you going to do that? I don't think that you can. So
nope.
Xbox will definitely, and even if Sony's is like $100 or whatever, I don't really see that happening. But if it is the case, even at $700, you're not making a PC that powerful. It's not happening.
And at $700, like, they couldn't even recreate the Xbox One X when it came out. It had no Bluetooth, it had no Wi-Fi, and all the components were used. And I mean, there's an obvious reason for that maybe it wasn't so obvious to me at the time when I was reading all this. But when they buy in bulk, and they get big discounts on these prices, plus being able to operate at a loss for their company, just from making other sales and software and online games and all microtransactions. They all get a cut of that, and it makes a lot of sense about how they can do that. But Sony still, to this day, has been really hard about taking a loss, and they don't want to do that as much, but they are this time around. And so hopefully we'll see something a little bit better from them. I got a PS4 Pro. It's all right. It's okay. But the One X, man, that's what I get on for, like, everything. And before I upgraded my TV, it was where I would watch all my apps. Things just look good on there. Looks like we're going to have to wrap it up there. Thank you guys for coming to our first podcast ever. Hopefully there's going to be a lot more. Hope you liked it. You can follow the show at Reactive Reload on Twitter. You can follow me at the Irish Cowboy, No Take Backsies, and Crossover at Reactive Brandon. You guys have a good day, night, whatever the hell time it is you're watching this. We fucking love you.